Hi, I'm Khaki King, and in this lesson we're going to learn some very basic over-the-neck sort of percussive techniques. I realize some of the more advanced things can be a little bit daunting, so I've come up with an exercise that is fairly easy, and we're going to do it in standard tuning. And it involves a little bit of counting, what we call a pickup. So it's in 4/4. So first of all, I am in standard tuning. This should be an E. Close enough. And so this is how we're going to do it. When I do this stuff, I almost always mute with my right hand. It's rare that I don't. So I'm going to put a little mute down with the heel of my hand. So I'm going to put the base of my right hand down for just a little mute action. And then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this includes a hammer on, a slide, a pull off, and then a slap right here. Now I realize most of you are going to have guitars that are solid here. Mine does have a sound hole that's built in here, but I typically just try to basically nail this little area. I don't hit on the hole or anything. It makes a less satisfying sound. I like the sort of brightness of this little trippy part up here. However, if this is too much for you, it just depends on which kind of guitar you have and how it sounds. You can just give it a big old smack. It's interesting. It's kind of like if you put your hand down, it's not as interesting as like pulling your hand away. So it's up to you. Also, I think that whenever you do a motion in this technique, you should always be prepared to do the next motion. So when I do I immediately pull away and see where my hand position is. It's right about to go down to where I'm about to start the next note again. So that's kind of an important thing just always remember when you're playing guitar. You're always having to think ahead. Where am I having to go next so I can put my hand in position to be there. It's like actually a pretty key essential thing to think about just in general as a guitar player. So back to this lesson. So we have the hammer on, the slide, the pull-off, and the slap. But we're going to count it in such a way that this note is going to be the first note of the measure. So very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure how much you're getting picked up on the overhead microphones, but you might hear a sound like this and that. And that's the sound of the string on the opposite side of your fingering. You typically don't hear that too much when you're playing with a pick or strumming or doing whatnot, even finger picking. But when you are hammering on, you will hear that sound. You can mute it with the fingers if you really hate it. But sometimes it adds this odd, because it's very hard to hear, especially when your guitar is so loud and this part back here is so quiet. It can kind of sometimes add a slightly dissonant but interesting sparkle. So that's kind of up to the player. Anyway, so let's do the lesson again. So I'll count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, You can practice that at your leisure. To make it a little bit more interesting, I'm going to incorporate a technique that I do constantly. It's just sort of reinforcing this idea of like a pitter-patter between the two hands. So between all of those hits, so if we call these quarter notes, I'm going to do the eighth note with this hand, just as like a tap. So I'm playing like the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. So I'm playing the upbeat, and this is just to get that idea that rhythmically it's all quite simple. If you're a drummer, it's just like doing 1 2 2 2 2. If you have that sort of feel between your hands, it can make doing a lot of these techniques, it can make them so much easier than they actually seem to be. If that constant idea of just, one hand does one thing, the other hand does another thing, alternate, 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 alternate. So let's do that again. And plus this sound kind of makes this, it just gives it a little bit of a cool vibe. It's almost like a high bongo and a low bongo or something like that. If you don't like that sound, or if you're not getting the right sound that you need, now I can tap all over the front of my guitar because it's made of carbon fiber and it's not going to chip or break or do anything. If you have a wood guitar and you don't want to ruin it, I would not suggest that you go like this unless you have a pick guard, whatever you want. But I'm just going to give you an example of doing it with my nail. 1 2 3 4. So that's a basic exercise that you can use just to get yourself kind of warmed up to the idea of playing over the neck, doing hammer-ons, slides, pulling off, and playing the top of this guitar right here. And then if you so choose, incorporating the right hand as on the upbeat as a syncopation. And so go ahead and try it.